I think we're live now. So, welcome everyone to this Game Changer Commentates broadcast. And this is for the ECF North versus South match.
It's the grudge match of the century. The north of England against the south of England in I think it's 107 boards of chess played on chess.com. And it's very exciting. It repeats an earlier match from the 1800 and somethings. And I think in that first match, the South team managed to win. In this match today, the North team is looking maybe a little bit stronger on paper. So it's very exciting to see what is going to happen here. We've got some really good players in both sides. I'm going to put my glasses so I can actually see my list. But if we know, it's captained by Mick Riding for the North team and Anthony Fulton for the South team. And we have a board 2 lineup because the captains are playing on board 1. We have a board 2 lineup of Andrew Horton against Bogdan Lalic. So it's I think, Andrew Horton and Grandmaster Bogdan Lalic. And then we have James Adair against Michael Harris and James Morby against Andrew Lewis and Yichin Han against Joseph Conlon. So those are the top 4 boards, really, really strong chess, and there's strength all the way down. And also a big variety of players all the way down. So we go up from 230, both the top boards are, and down to people graded around about 100 and some lower. So it's a big mixture and very exciting match, north and south.
Indeed. So, viewers in the chat, do let us know if the sound's okay, or if anything's missing in some way. Then we'll try and correct it. I mean, we do this quite often, relatively. So we hope that we got the setup right by now. But do let us know if you can't hear us properly, and then we'll try and correct that.
I can certainly hear some sound, so that's a good sign. And we've got 5 people watching. Started streaming 2 minutes ago.
Fantastic. Yeah, so we've got a few people who let us know that they were playing. I think on board 16, we've got a player who's tweeting quite a lot, saying that watch me, I'm going to be playing. So he's a 1b3.
Yeah, and so we know what openings to expect there. So I don't know if his opponent actually has a Twitter account and is following him, because if you do, so this is board 16, isn't it? Then you can have a look at what your opponent is intending to play.
Indeed.
So our tweeter was from the Southern team, and can you remember the openings?
Yeah, it was Peter Chaplin. So he plays 1b3 as white, but in actual fact he seems to be black in this game, and so he was going to play a King's Indian, and he was expecting a g3 King's Indian from white, and he had some sneaky preparation prepared. So that's going to be an interesting one to see. And actually, on the board right next to that, there's Petra Nunn. Wife of John Nunn, very famous English Grandmaster, of course. So
Petra herself is a women's international master and has played in the past, I think, for the German women's team.
Exactly.
And English women's team, I think, as well.
And the English women's team as well. That's right.
Yes.
So some pretty good names there, really. So it's going to be a good one. King Kura. King Kura's just had a comment in the chat. He's been watching the TCEC, the computer, the unofficial Computer World Championship going on at the moment. Yes, it was a great win by Stockfish's Black against Ethereal King Kura. Stockfish NNUE looking really, really good there. It's
so following Stockfish NNUE in for a little while because it wasn't in the TSEC last time, but it was in some of the side events and looks to be very, very strong.
So we've got 107 boards here today. So it's going to be we're going to do our best to give everyone a fair view, but obviously we will be concentrating on the top boards, of course. But certainly as the event moves on and games remaining, we hope the number of games being played gets less. We hope that we'll be able to give everyone just a bit of attention on the stream. But obviously, with 107 games, we've got a lot to do. All right. Well, I think I will switch to the main screen now because there we are. Natasha is still there, wearing glasses. A first for our viewers, I think. And yeah. I'm a bit static. We always seem to have problems when we have two people on the Skype call. So you've just got a photo of me looking at my best. And you can't see me currently, how I currently am at the moment. Right, let's have a look. I got a URL from just in order to be able to follow the top 5 boards. So we'll just see whether that's active yet. There we are, following lots of people there.
And so the games are due to kick off in just 2 minutes at 6:30.
Indeed. So let's have a look who we've got here.
Oh, it started. East Coker against Dinan 2020.
Yeah, let's have a look here. Am I missing? There we are. As the games start up, we get them at the bottom with the tabs. That's a good one. FM Morbs against Potato the Cat.
That's James Morby.
James Morby against Andrew Lewis.
Yes, and Andrew Lewis, he's a FIDE Master as well.
Exactly.
So that's, yes, 2 FIDE Masters against each other.
I remember. Hey, Martin Hamer's on the in the chat. Hey, Martin.
Hi, Martin. How are you doing? Are you playing today?
It's Martin's.
Or you're watching and seeing the stream.
Martin is a fantastic games player. Plays all sorts of different games. Also, member of our British shogi team. You know that we're playing with in the World Shogi League. And also a very good chess player as well, who likes the grob. Actually, this is quite an interesting little choice. James Morby playing 1c4, and Andrew Lewis, the black player, is a long time 1c4 player. Always plays c4, actually for as long as I can remember. So an interesting one there. Oh.
If he gets the chance, he plays the French, doesn't he, when he's black? He obviously can't. I think
Andrew Lewis. I can't remember. I'm a bit surprised actually with this move order 4G6. I always thought that D4 was actually quite strong for white. But
I'm pretty sure we used to call him Andrew Informata Lewis at university. So he must have, in those days, I don't know, he probably still does, but in those days he must have known all his theory.
He's a very serious player. You know, tries very hard. Big time trouble addict, of course, as well. A very interesting player. Bishop D2. That's a very.
They've got quite a lot of time today for an online match. So they've got 1 hour each plus 15 seconds per move.
Okay.
Yes. So hopefully he shouldn't run into time trouble yet. But if you come back in 2 hours, he might be in time trouble.
Yeah, Bishop D2 is a very unusual move here. I mean, white normally plays Rook B1 and then B4, B5, and actually the knight on F3 normally goes to D2. So intriguing. We'll keep a little eye out on that. Let's have a look at the other games that I've got here. I can only have 5 tabs open at a time, unfortunately. So we've got East Coker against Dinan 2020. Do you know who that is, Natasha?
Yes, let me find that. East Coker. This is the top 5 boards, right?
Well, it's the top 10 boards, I think.
Top 10 boards. Dinan 2020 is David Mooney, and East Coker is John Hodgson.
Oh, John Hodgson.
And John Hodgson I've known for a long time. He's played for Barbican and for Cavendish, so he's a Southern player. Plays in the London League, and he used to play in the Lloyds Bank Masters many years ago. So not a relation, I believe, of Julian Hodgson.
No, it's the same initials, but no relation indeed. So this is going to be this is a solid one. It's been a Berlin defence, and White's played a very solid line. But actually, I once saw Luke McShane nearly beat Magnus Carlsen in this as White in the most stunning game that unfortunately Luke just at the crucial moment, after having played an absolutely beautiful game, just played one wrong move, and then afterwards he was ground down by Magnus in a long game. But that was really for about 28-29 moves, one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. But this is a very solid variation, so Black's going to find it hard to...
I would say John Hodgson is quite a solid player, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So this will suit him.
Let's have a look. We've got Peshka the Great. A game aborted.
Oh, dear.
My goodness. Ooh,
maybe one player didn't turn up. Peshka the Great.
Peshka the Great, that's Hitchin Yan, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And he was due to be playing Joseph Conlon.
Okay, that was quite a...
Hitchingham is playing for the northern team, and Joseph Conlon the southern team. This promises to be an interesting lineup.
Okay,
I don't know which of the players hasn't made it on time for the start.
We'll have a little look.
They're just starting again if something wasn't set up right.
Housing Crisis. I've seen that name before. Housing Crisis against...
It's Murray D. Smith.
Okay,
playing for the northern team. And I think he was playing before in the other match we commentated a couple of weeks ago.
The county championships.
Which was the county finals. Yeah, and he's playing now against Clive Frostick.
So this is actually an interesting opening. It's an Alpha Zero opening in actual fact. So, but Black's E4 is a very E4, Knight D4, Queen B6 is a very aggressive line that Alpha Zero played as Black. D6 is much more solid. We're going to transpose into probably into an old Indian type opening. After D4, Black plays Knight D7, Bishop E7, castles. Actually, just a little bit of a gratuitous plug, I suppose, but if you're looking for a good book on that, my former coach, Steve Giddings, and also Gerard Welling, a Dutch IM, wrote a book together on... it was an opening repertory that was supposed to be... essentially you play the same thing against everything, whether it's E4 and D4, and very nice book actually. So we'll see whether this does indeed transpose into that opening. But that's what I'm expecting: D4, Knight BD7, and then Black plays Bishop B7 and castles. Very, very solid. DJW60 against Dynamo 24.
Yes, that is. Wait a minute. Sorry, I went off the. Here we are. I went off the page to look for a page of results. DJW60 is David Walker.
Oh, right.
And
okay.
Dynamo 24 is Chris Davison. So again, another very strong lineup.
Yeah. Again, these types of openings. A little bit Chigorinish, really, with a knight on c6 and White's got pawns on e3 and d4. In general, I'd rather be White with a centre, but if Black gets its activity right, then Black can actually develop something. But I do find I find it easy to drift with Black. For example, after knight e7 here, well, e4 looks fairly sensible, and I do feel that White's just got a nice edge there. So that's interesting. Now this is the big match. Smooth as Hedgehog, Andrew Horton against B Unit, Bogdan Lalic.
B Unit is Bogdan Lalic, who actually used to be my coach about 20 years ago.
Oh, good Lord.
Yes, he used to, and he used to help me prepare using his pendulum. And so if I was playing an important match and I wanted to know what opening to play, I'm not sure if this really helped, but he would take his pendulum out of his pocket and swing it around and say I had to play the Sicilian defence. And I'd say, but I don't know the Sicilian defence. I want to play the Alekhines. And after a little bit of arguing, then he would eventually teach me the line in the Alekhines that I wanted to know. And but I actually did really well from that coaching. I got a win nom that season. So one of my WIM noms, and a really good performance in the Bundesliga. He was helping me prep for that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Bogdan came over from Croatia. Just I think it was the mid 1990s. He was very very booked up, playing extremely fast. I can't tell you how fast he played, and playing very very strongly. I lost a game to him in a Rook B1 Grunfeld, very sharp theoretical line, and he knew it all, and he played it in about 20 minutes. It was
Yeah.
quite a depressing experience, I have to say.
He's got a really wide chess knowledge, hasn't he? Because as soon as you mention an opening, he'll know like a lot about it. These days, I think he doesn't quite like how computers have has such a big influence on chess, and so I think the amount of theory you have to learn these days is even more. So I think he's not too keen on that. But in those days, he used to know, a lot about every single opening.
Just to look in the chat, Synchronium. No, I don't think it's that game that I'm thinking of. It's this was played in the London Classic, probably around 2014, I think. McShane Carlson in the Berlin defence. So because Luke actually beat Magnus in an English opening, I think the year before, and the Berlin was the year after, and. Luke had a bit of a rough time that year, and but that game was so fantastic. Just actually, it's quite interesting. Smooth as Hedgehog is thinking quite a long time about this position. He spent 6 or 7 minutes. I am still here. 6 or 7 minutes already. It's actually a few possibilities here. You can play. Castle's kingside is the most natural. There's also the possibility of playing Queen E2. And this is the Queen's Gambit accepted, which was one of my favourite openings as a professional. And Queen E2 is interesting. The idea is to play D takes E5 quickly, and then to play E4 and then to play E4 and then E5 afterwards. Castle's kingside is the most normal. Black plays A6, and then White's got a very wide variety of moves. A4 is the old main line, probably not that great. Bishop B3, Bishop D3, more modern lines. D takes C5, going for a queenless middle game. It's a bit of a spoiler, really, if you enjoy sharp games and you play the Queen's Gambit accepted. But yeah, I mean, quite a lot happening there.
I have a question for Mark Morell, if he is watching the stream. He's one of the organisers. Do you have a link to actually the live scores? Because I'm just wanting to keep people updated on actually the scores in the match. So if you have that would be really useful for us, because we can kind of count up what the ones we see. But we'll
I think the live scores are here.
Boards.
I think the live scores are So just if you just go to this link. And then you just keep on adding 1 in order to, so it's node 61618 and then 61619, 6192, 61620. That's and they're all individual links to the first 10 boards, the next 10 boards, etc. So now let's have a look whether we're going to try it. Oh, D takes C5. Not normally thought to be the best move when Black hasn't played A7 to A6, because A7 to A6 is a bit of a weakness which you can target in this queenless middle game. If Black hasn't done this, then this is not supposed to be particularly dangerous. The knight's on C6 might be a little bit better on D7, but yeah, this should really be nothing at all for White. So interesting to see what happens there. Interesting. Black's going to put the king in the centre here because White can take on D8 and Black will probably take with the king on D8. I do have to say that putting the king in the centre in these positions is a tiny bit risky. That bishop on C5 can get when the king's in the centre on E7, that bishop on C5 can get harassed by White's knights somehow. But well, we'll see how that all pans out. Let's have, A3, so not taking off the queens yet. Interesting. But it looks like I think I'm sure.
We have one result. Guess what? The captains have agreed an honourable draw. So Mick Riding against Anthony Fulton have agreed a draw already, and that's the first game to finish.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure they've got quite a bit on their plates with 107 boards to manage. So let's have a little look at how James Morby and Andrew Lewis are getting on. Interesting. White's manoeuvred the knight round e1 to c2. And actually, I think Andrew Lewis has played a very natural and logical move, just to play knight d4. You often play knight d4 when the knight's on f3. So now that White's spent a couple of moves transferring the knight, makes sense to try and exchange it just for free. Yeah, not 100% sure about what White's doing here. It looks a little bit strange to me, but we'll.
I think still in theory, or he was still in theory, because he's used hardly any time on his clock. But now he's having a think. It must be his first big think of the game. Just to say, we commented on James Morby a couple of weeks ago when we did the county finals, and he had a very nice win on that day against Grandmaster Matthew Turner.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so you can, if you're interested, you can find that game. But it was really nice win in an endgame.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it was a very, very good win. Very interesting play, and yeah, very good indeed. Let's have a look. I'll close a few of these windows, and we'll get a few more of the top 10. I'll close East Coker, and we'll see who appears. We've got Piscatorox against Peshka the Great. So Piscatorox is.
I've got to close some of these other tabs. Piscatorox. I'm going to open this. Piscatorox. Peshka the Great is Yichin Han. This is Joseph Conlin against Yichin Han. So Piscatorox. Oh, so they must have managed to get their game started in the end. So that's really good.
Yeah. So just having a quick look at the opening. So this was an interesting idea. Rookie 1, d5. Okay. Knight c3. Knight c3 in this position, because the very well-known old main line is to take on d5, queen takes d5, and knight c3. Very well known. This is somewhat unusual. Knight c3. Takes, bishop e6. But Peshka the Great is playing this all instantly, amazingly. It's unusual, but took the queens off, took the pawn off, and f6. And black is actually a pawn up here, although white's got a decent compensation, I suppose, with the a lead in development and a bit of pressure. But I would have thought that, the very most that white's got.
What would you prefer? Would you prefer playing white or black here?
I suppose in general I'd rather be black, but I think with black I'd be a little bit concerned that it was all going to get everything was going to get swapped off and it was going to end up as a draw. I think. Because these lines do tend to go like that. I guess that white was trying to catch black out in this way, but black's if you see black's time usage, it's got more time than he started with, so definitely playing.
I think black knows this position already.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's actually Yichin Han is a very strong blitz player. I think I'm not. I'm getting the right guy. I think he won the Dutch 1 minute championship ahead of quite a few grandmasters. He's a very, very good player at super fast time controls. So okay, let's have a look. This is Andrew Horton against Bogdan Lalic. Yeah, we're going to get one of these symmetrical Queen's Gambit positions. I spent a lot of time on these in my youth or as a professional. Surprisingly complex, despite the despite the symmetrical pawn structure. But yeah, interesting. We're going to see how that one develops. There we are. We said that Clive Frostick would probably play knight d7 castles. White hasn't gone d4. White's gone d3, which is a lot more an English opening move. And White will probably aim to go b4 and b5 and put some pressure on the black position. Quite like White in these type of positions. I suppose the only thing you've got to watch out, maybe Black might play d5 at some stage, get 2 pawns in the centre, but that centre can also prove a little weak as well. I'm just going to close this window and we're going to see who else we get.
Can we have a look at boards 11 to 20, do you think?
We certainly will. Let's just have a quick look at this one. We hadn't seen it yet. Yep. Isolani against Chaz Praha.
Okay, so that is Ken Neat against Christoph Brixel. So Ken Neat is a well-known chess translator, and he is playing for the north of England on board 10 against Christoph Brixel.
Yeah, and it's an offbeat opening from Black. So d4, b6, c4, bishop b7, knight c3, knight f6, and Ken Neat straight away blocking in the bishop, and after e6 playing a3 to stop the bishop from coming into b4. E takes d5 is a little bit early, I feel. Normally you try and delay that a little bit. Got to be careful with Black here. If you're not careful, you'll just end up with just a very cramped position. So Black's got to, I don't know. Black's got to do something. I mean,
bishop if I was White, I would want to play e4 maybe at some point to bolster my centre.
Yeah, I mean Black.
Then,
Black can play bishop d6, for example. Try and play bishop e5 afterwards. A bit of a problem developing that knight on b8 always. I had a horrific game against Vishy Anand once, where my queen's knight, got so terribly hemmed in. It was I looked like a complete amateur. So always, got to be very careful with those lines. I did beat Ivanchuk once with Black in one of those games, but I also had some slightly iffy moments as well. Now Natasha's got a request for boards 11 to 20. I don't have a link for all of those, but
yes, we maybe have a link somewhere on that. Oh, if they changed since.
But what I can do is hopefully I can start up the individual games, and we will be able to see them. There we are. Let me have a look. We want Dairy Queen.
Yeah, I can forward you this. We've got a note.
Let me just close a few ones because maybe I think that was the wrong people were playing against each other there.
Okay. Yes.
There we are. We've got Dairy Queen.
Good. Okay. So this is Petra.
Petra Nunn against Eldritch.
And that she is playing against Gary Eldritch. Oh, sorry, Gary Murphy. Gary
Murphy. So sharp line. So H3 Najdorf. Of course, Petra's husband John was a huge expert on the Najdorf in his day. Especially on the white side of the open Sicilian, very big expert. So let's have a look what happened. E6, G4, D5, sharp counter strike. Takes. Knight D2, interesting move. Just protecting the knight on C3. If Black takes on C3, we'll take on D8, take back with a knight. And that should be a slight edge for White. Just with the Black king slightly misplaced, and White's king's going to castle queenside quickly. Ooh, it's a very unusual game, this one. Bishop b4, a3, bishop a5, b4, bishop b6, and knight takes d5. So giving giving Black an isolated pawn. I mean, I guess that Black's going to take on d5. I will say there's one thing that White has to be well, a little bit careful about, and that's Queen F6. After
Hitting
E
that
takes
rook.
D5, hitting the rook on
And
A1,
forking on
and
F2.
the pawn on F2. So, well, I mean, you can play moves like Bishop E3 or Bishop F4 to cover it. So it's not terrible, but it's definitely something you've got to watch out for, because it could be a rather unpleasant shock if you miss it in the in the wrong way.
So I think Black will then choose to keep the queens on to play for this trick and play
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think yeah. I think I'd play E takes D5 in this position. You've got yeah. I mean, if White castles kingside, you've got some chances and everything. But it's going to be an interesting game there. It's White's maybe.
Martin says he's familiar with B4 in the Najdorf.
Oh, good lord! Yes, of course, of course. There was a tweet I sent around about in the Najdorf. So it's this position in actual fact. Nigel Short once, well, saying that all possible moves had been played, so the only one that still remained was B4, which was quite funny. Well, but Martin actually replied in a tweet, and he said that he'd actually played, and it's true. I checked in the database; it's really true. He's got 3 games with G4, which is just a pawn, which is just a pawn sacrifice, giving away the G pawn. But Martin scored 2 out of 3 with that. So, well, if you anti-Najdorf fans there, if you fancy doing anything, 6G4 could be interesting. So, but yeah, this B4 move, well, it wasn't played on move 6, but in a computer game in the recent computer chess championships, then White played B4 in a Najdorf very, very early, which was actually quite a good idea. So quite interesting there. I promised rather to look at Peter Chaplin's game.
Yes.
On board.
By the way, there's been one result. It's a default. Which is Ashley Freeman got the win by default. And so that will take the Southern team 1 ahead.
Good lord. Okay. Still, of course, a long way to go.
Let's have
a look at this one. I'll probably have to close a tab somewhere. Let's close. We'll close Dynamo. Up. And there we are, Peter Chaplin. So he was expecting a G3 King's Indian.
Well, there's G3, it's in there.
Indeed, but White's played a slightly offbeat line, so he didn't play C4, but played A4, which I think... Has Magnus Carlsen played this? I think he has, actually. I've played something very similar as well with White.
Oh, and A5.
Indeed. Not bad lines. I mean, yes, indeed. You get a little bit of space on the queen side like this, and then afterwards you try and play it as actually sort of a perk structure with a knight on C3. I mean, Black could play D5, but then you've wasted a move playing D6, D5. So Peter Chaplin played E5, takes, E4, rook E8, Queen E2, C6. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky this, because you kind of need to play C6 to stop the knight coming into D5, but that pawn on A5 is brilliant now, just restricting the black queen side. So rook D1, Queen C7, Bishop E3, Knight G4, chasing the bishop away. The bishop moves back, and White's going to play H3 and then Bishop E3 again. Yeah, this is slightly a slight edge for White in principle, but also not too terrible. I mean, in general, especially with the queen on E2 here, a move Knight C5 to E6 to D4 would be something that you'd really want to do there. You might be able to get away with this, because after Knight C5, H3, Knight F6, White can't play Bishop E3 because the E4 pawn isn't... Ooh, no, it's not hanging, actually. Yeah, that might be... well, I don't know. Maybe Black can play Queen E7 afterwards. It's an interesting position in any case. Peter Chaplin thinking a lot, though, so unfortunately he didn't get his preparation.
Oh, dear.
We'll keep a little eye on
that. Well, he'll know it for another day, I guess.
He will know it for another day. Let's have a look at, just have a quick look again at how things are going. This is Piscatorox against Peshka the Great. So I think it was James Conlon.
Against Joe Conlon.
Joe Conlon, that's right. So black has the 2 bishops and is a pawn up, which basically sounds quite good. And also a big 15-minute advantage on the clock there. So you can say that white's opening surprise has not worked out very well, I'm afraid. But yeah, I don't know how much advantage is this for black. Probably only a slight edge. But still, I think I would much rather be black there.
Right.
So, ooh.
Nut flush against moves at random.
Oh, okay. We'll just have a quick look at Andrew Horton against Bogdan Lalic. Very unusual line that that Andrew Horton has played. You don't normally put the queen on c2 in such positions, because obviously a rook's going to come to the c file, and that could really just embarrass the queen there. So I imagine that what white is aiming for is to play a move like bishop d3, and then threaten bishop takes f6 and bishop h7 check. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I mean, with this move as well, white's also threatening bishop takes f6. But again, I'm never 100% sure that that's a real threat, actually, because bishop f6, I can't play queen f6. I mean, queen f6 also attacks the rook on a1. But even if I have to play g takes f6, I play f5 afterwards, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's particularly bad for black, and white does lose a lot of control over the central dark squares. Which game did you want to see, Natasha?
I was thinking, actually, there's 2. I was thinking nut flush against moves at random, so that's board 11.
Board 11, all right. Let's have a look.
And also board 12.
Board 11. Let's have a look here. Moves at random against nut flush.
Yes. So nut flush is Paul Dargan for the north of England, and we commented on his game last time in the county final. And moves at random is Nigel Fleming for the south of England.
Okay. This is looking, I would say, very nice for black. Well, very nice for black. It feels like black's achieved quite a bit, really. White's a pawn up, but those are triple pawns.
Tripled c-pawns, look at that.
Indeed.
Tripled isolated c-pawns.
Indeed, and black's got the 2 bishops, so I mean, I guess white would be looking to, I don't think it's going to happen though. You'd want to go knight d2, e4, d6, maybe get opposite coloured bishops, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that black can stop this very easily. So quite nice position for black. I'd really like to have black, because that pawn on c5 is not going to be able to stay there forever. And to be honest, even if you don't win it, you've got a kingside pawn majority, so you can just advance that. It's going to be quite dangerous, I think.
Would quite like to get the king out and put and double rooks on the b file or something, but you can't really do it, can you? Because if you did put your king out, black could just check you.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit awkward for. I guess what white will do is probably go knight d2, f3, and maybe knight b3, something like that, and maybe try and develop some pressure on a5. But that knight's very short of squares. I mean, it's a very nice position for black. Yeah.
Okay, and then board 12 also, which is Malola Prasath against Cross's King, which is Chris Fegan.
All right. Where is that? Oh wait a minute, I've got to close one window.
There's 2 stars by it, and it's in bold. I'm not quite sure why. Wonder what the code is for that. 2 stars. Does it mean it's a special match?
Oh, I don't know actually. Did I get that one going there? It's not coming up.
Okay.
It's not coming up.
I can do other requests. Roy Elames I would like to see as well against John Tennyson. So Roy Elames is Roy Elames, and John Tennyson is Johnny T65.
Let's have a look.
So this is board 17.
Yeah, I'm just wait a minute. We'll just close a few of these windows because
it's all happening.
It's all happening. Well, yeah. Every time I click a link, it's but somehow those are not coming up there. So and you sort of feel they should. I've only got 4 tabs open. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So let me just close this one as well, and we'll see whether I can bring up a game like that. North. Otherwise, we'll do it the manual way. It would be very nice if we could just do that. No, I'm not getting...
I've got another request if you like.
Wait a minute, let's just do a little follow. How do we do this? Was it /follow?
Yep, /follow and then their name.
Johnny
so if you want real names, you can just do ROY.
Johnny T65? Was that the one?
Johnny T65 is good.
Unable to follow. Okay, I'm wondering whether they've started yet, actually. But,
maybe not. Yeah.
Let's have a look, because I'm not having a great deal of success clicking around here. Let's have a look at Julian Shepley. He's one of yours, isn't he?
He's a Guildford player, isn't he? He's playing for the Southern team against Alex Billings.
There we are. There we are. That one's come up at least. Oh, good Lord. That looks like a London system. So that's a London system where White took on B6 and then played this idea knight A3. Little bit dodgy, this one, but White tries to get a knight on B5 and play a bishop on C7. So we've got this kind of attritional position here where it's not really too clear what either side is going to do there. That knight on D7 is kind of tied to the pawn on B6, of course. And it's not too easy to get rid of it. I mean, if you go bishop D8, White can even just move the bishop back. You know, it's yeah, not easy at all for Black to make something of this. Maybe knight A7 at some stage, but you've got to be a little bit careful at times because that rook on A5 can get a little bit get a little bit worried really if it runs short of squares. But yeah.
Do you know what? We've got another result.
No.
And yes, and it's another win for the South. So
good Lord.
This is board, I think, 23. And Ian Hunnable has beaten Gary Cornwall. And by the looks of it, that looks like that game was actually played. So it's Chester A1H8. So like chess, not just Chester, but Chester A1H8 against Gary LC. And that's a win for the Southerners.
Indeed.
So actually, we've got a comment in the chat from Ultra Totri or not Totri. I'm going to try that again. Ultra Totri or not Totri won the game with an opponent no-show. But I think that must be a different game. Which board were you, Ultra?
We've got a game that's just started as well between Inglaterra and Tim Wall.
Okay, let's see Tim Wall.
Just starting again with an unorthodox B6 bishop B7 system. To try or not to try.
Or not to try or not to try. To try or not to try. Board 91, board 10.
Board 10.
Okay, well, that, board 9 and 10 not named. Okay. So I guess there was a little bit of switching people around at the start, seeing depending on who turns up and who doesn't. Because remember, it is a 107 board match, so there's going to be a little bit of confusion.
Now let's have a little look again here.
101 to 100. Yeah, sorry, 110. 100 and... I'm looking for to try or not to try. Yeah.
So this is Andrew Horton against Bogdan Lalic again. So Bogdan's taken quite a responsible decision, and that's to play e6 to e5. Yeah, that's in some ways it's a good idea. I mean, you block the bishop on b2, you get the bishop, the light squared bishop outside, but on the other hand, it does weaken the light squares around this pawn, and got to be a little bit careful. If you get this wrong, then you might end up with a very bad bishop on d6, and white pieces just crawling over your light squares. The one thing that is kind of, well, it's not really working, but there is, because white's played the rook to d1, there is sometimes a threat of e4, but it's not really dangerous at the moment because we've got bishop f6 as an intermezzo. Interesting to think what white might do in this position. I mean, yeah, even something like knight e4 is quite interesting, because I'm not at all afraid of the bishop taking on f3 just because of the light squares that you get. I mean, knight e4 is possible, and then you could play the knight round to g3, maybe play h3, something like that. Or yeah, I think knight e4 would probably be my preferred move there. And Andrew Horton has played it just in time as well. So yeah, interesting. Let's have a look at James.
Actually, this to try or not to try is Oliver Noakes, and that was a default. That was a win by default. We also have another result on board 8 of that match, which is George Wright against Johnny Kearney, and that's a win for the Southern team as well. So the Southern team is actually getting quite a good start in this match. So I think we're 4-0, 4.5 half.
Indeed, wow. Come on, the North. So time to start scoring.
Yeah, so the North needs to make a bit of a comeback.
So this is James Morby against Andrew Lewis. Yeah, I'm not. In general, I'm not very convinced with what White is doing here. I might be wrong, but again, playing a4 to a5, you're sort of clamping down on the queen side. That's, not bad in principle, but you do really want to play b4 to b5 at some stage, and yeah, that's just going to be a little bit tougher now. You put a pawn on a5. But I mean, White's it's not that White has a problem or anything. It's just a very complicated game. But it just feels a bit funny what White's doing. This is
he's making a different way. He's coming into b6. I think it looks like.
Well, the knight's covering on d7, so that's not an enormous threat. I mean, you're threatening b5 now. Strange. It's a really strange way of playing this, but you're going to see it. It might turn out to be effective. I suppose what you could say is that Black hasn't done a great deal active of his own. So there's nothing happening on the king side yet, for example. So Black is kind of waiting a little bit for White to proceed. So
should White play a move like h4, do you think? And then like to stop g5 and then go something like queen c1 and line up on that h pawn?
Well, you can meet queen c1 with king h7 really, and so I don't think it's really a big idea. I think White's more likely to play b5 simply, and break like that, because this bishop on d2 is protecting the pawn on a5. So, and so that's actually, yeah, I don't know. It's not easy to find a good way for Black to play, but I just find this very hard to. Just intuitively, I find it looks very, very odd for White. But maybe something's actually maybe it's quite decent. I don't know. I'm trying to work out how to do something useful against this b5 threat, and I'm not really succeeding at the moment.
Because White does have play on the queen side, and the king side play, as you say, just doesn't seem to have started yet.
Yeah,
I suppose
interesting.
would black bring the pieces over, just like knight f6, and try and let white go on the queen side and try and do something on the king side at the same time?
Well, knight b6 and b5 is coming very quickly. It really
Yeah.
is. So, yeah, I don't know.
So maybe maybe it's harder for black to play here.
Yeah,
It's taking a little bit longer. Although we did predict that anyway, didn't we? Because this is Andrew Lewis, isn't it, playing?
That's right.
Black.
Yeah.
Yes.
Intriguing.
Yes, so
Intriguing. Yeah, I was quite skeptical about it, but looking at it now, actually, yeah, why?
You quite like it. You're going to try it out in your own games.
Maybe. It's yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Not quite sure how black should try and do this. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. So we'll keep a little eye on that one. Let's have a look. We've got Dairy Queen here. How is Petra done?
How's that go? No, because when we last saw this, we were thinking black might come in with a queen f6 at some point.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Petra played bishop g2, so black could have tried queen f6, but I imagine that bishop f4 was sufficient simply, and covering f2 and also protecting the rook on a1. So, yeah, I imagine that would have been perfectly fine. So black played bishop b6, Petra played bishop b2, castles, and queen g5.
So do you think black's going to try a sacrifice?
Well, not yet, I don't think. Actually, to be honest, with white, probably if you're just in a blitz game or something, I'd probably play bishop d4 here, just to cut out the bishop, and then afterwards we can maybe follow up with a move like f4, and maybe f5 even later, something like that. That would be probably what I'd do in a blitz game. Wondering about other ideas.
Because black has to try and deliver checkmate, you're right? Because black's got the isolated pawn.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think if black manages to get in knight c6, rook d8, then you've got stuff like h5 or f5. You're quite this pawn on g4 is a slightly unusual factor in these positions, and quite a weakening one as well. So it's yeah. I think black's going to be fine if it gets in knight c6, rook d8. So that's why I quite like bishop d4. If the bishop goes back to c7, then we play f4 and then f5 probably. I mean, you could try king h1. The only thing is that I'm a little bit nervous about playing f4 whilst this bishop is covering this diagonal. Makes me a little bit nervous about things. But you never know. I mean, it could also be decent. If we get in a quick f4 to f5, that might be dangerous. Tricky. I'm going to need to have a little think about this. Actually, Petra's having a little think about this as well there.
Rightly so.
Oh, I'm still here. Any games you want to see, Natasha?
Yes, there is. There is a game I want to see. I want to see board 18, which is Ian Calvert against Georgie Ed.
Let's have a look. Probably I should close one person. Georgie Ed against Ian Calvert.
Yes, and I think, did we comment on Georgie Ed before? The name definitely sounds very familiar.
Could be.
I think we did in our county match before. And Ian Calvert I've played several times. Very nice guy, and he, I think was he's very kind and was very nice to me one time when I think I had I was winning all game and then made a blunder, and he offered me a draw in that position, and I was short on time or something.
So this was Scandinavian, and yeah, I think black can be reasonably happy with the opening there. It's white doesn't have any particular attacks. A little bit of a space advantage, but nothing serious. I mean, a move like bishop d6, for example, for black will equalise quite easily there. So yeah, I reckon that's probably just quite
fairly
equal.
Level.
Yeah. Fairly level there.
And I do have another request actually, which was the next board to that. And that is Colin Mackenzie against Simon Smith. So Colin Mackenzie is C. Mackenzie 06, and Simon Smith is Woldsman.
All righty, here we are. So we've got some sort of English opening there. Very slightly unusual pieces there, really. Black knight very early on b4, a white knight on a3. So that is actually, well, it looks a little bit slightly irritating for white, really, because how are you going to get this rook on c1 developed? This knight's attacking the pawn on a2, and this knight on a3 can't move. So I guess at some stage, yeah, white will consider taking on b4 in order maybe to try and get the knight back either via b1 to d2 or maybe c2 to e3. From that point of view, I'm quite keen on a move like rook c8, for example, because if you go bishop b4, I play c takes b4, and then the knight can't come round to c2. So rook c8 looks, I mean, it's also a very natural, reasonable move. White could play, they're quite complicated, these positions. I mean, white could play bishop h3, just to hit the rook. If you go rook c7, maybe you'll hit it with bishop f4 as well. I guess it's probably balanced, but I'd just be a bit annoyed with myself, I think, in general, if I'd let myself get a knight on a3, because that's if your knight was on c3, everything would be a lot more logical. You could play rook c1, kick the knight back with a3, but probably still around balance there. Quite a complicated position.
I've got some more requests now. I would like some games from boards 21 to 30, if you can manage those.
Yep, they're there.
And the first one I want to look at is Zoe Varney, and she's horsey chess. So that's horsey with an E in it.
Horsey chess, my goodness.
Horsey chess against Kevin Williamson, who is buzzard 6. So he's a horse against the buzzard.
Fair enough. Let me just close a couple of tabs. Very annoying you can only have 5 open at once, but this is actually quite an interesting game there. Some strange things have been happening. So Black lost the right to castle to a queen b5 check just now. Actually, Black had delayed casting for a long time, but Black has played the rook out to h5.
With a threat, a subtle threat. Can our viewers spot Black's tactical trick here?
Indeed.
Aiming for knight f3 check, uncovering an attack on that queen on b5. I'm sure that Zoe will see this, though.
Actually, yeah, knight c4 could also be very unpleasant. Actually, attacking that bishop on d2. But yeah, knight f3 is the big one.
I think Zoe will move the queen and just get it out of the way of that lineup: rook, knight, and queen.
Yeah, I guess queen b3 maybe, or yeah, queen e2. So,
yeah. The Irish Pawn Centre. The Irish Pawn Centre. Martin commented on the Irish Pawn Centre, and it was an earlier game we looked at, and White had these tripled isolated c pawns, and the triple pawns make the Irish Pawn Centre.
Yeah, it's coined by Tony Miles. That was his. He wrote an article in I think it was in Kingpin magazine, but just showing a few games in the from an Irish tournament where this game had always led to a win, and he coined it the Irish Pawn Centre. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. White's. I mean, really, what does White want to do? White's got the queenside pawn majority, 2 bishops, bishop on g2, pointing towards b7. You'd like to get your queenside pawns rolling, but it's not going to be that easy. Yeah, queen b3. Yeah, I think probably White's first step then, maybe just put the queenside pawns on a back burner for now and just get the rook to d1, maybe a bishop to... maybe play the pawn to h3, get a bishop to e3. Just try and consolidate, activate your pieces first, and then get that queenside majority going. In principle, White should stand very well here. 2 bishops and and already, the black queen side's slightly pinned down, but black is reasonably...
The crowd's shouting for queen b3. Okay, and queen b3 has been played.
Yeah, I mean, black's quite active. I mean, maybe black could play something like b5, and after a takes b5, go knight c4, attack the bishop on d2, and then afterwards the rook is on h5 is going to come over to b5 and attack b2. So b5 takes knight c4, bishop somewhere, I'm not quite sure where, and then rook takes b5 and knight takes b2. You know, that could be quite interesting as well. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I've got the feeling that black's probably got enough activity here at the moment just to deal with that.
Okay, I have another request for you.
Okay.
I would like board 24, please, which is behind blue eyes against Kimon. So now I know finally who behind blue eyes is, because we although this seems to be spelled a slightly different way. Behind blue eyes. Have you found it? It's
yeah. I've just got to close the game, but just saw that Petra played bishop d4 as I suggested. So
yes.
Well played, well done, Petra.
Yes.
Or bad luck if my move doesn't turn out to be very good. Behind blue eyes. Actually, yes. I've just realised we haven't.
In fact, Philip Olberson.
Right.
Against Fraser Lees. So Philip Olberson is playing for the north and Fraser Lees for the south on board 14.
24.
In fact.
24. Yeah. So yeah, this is I think fairly balanced basically. Extra pawn for black, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, but a doubled one. Just a kind of an equal position there, I think.
So I don't know if this is the same behind blue eyes we were commenting on in the Mind Sports Olympiad, or whether it's a different one. We were making lots of speculation as to who it could be. They were doing very well in the what was it, like a 3-minute tournament?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Was it the Crazy House? I'm not sure anymore.
Was it Crazy House? Yeah.
I'm not sure anymore. Just one game we haven't looked at actually. I just wanted to have a look. Was one of the top ones actually. Which is James Adair against Michael Harris.
Ah, yes, we must. Yes, of course. So it has offered a draw. So that must be the Zoe Varney game.
Okay. Let me just take away behind blue eyes.
Yep.
And
I'm going to give you an update on the score. Looking at
clunky this interface.
Oh
wow!
Lots of results come in, including some wins for the North. I'm going to add it all up: 2, 2.5, 3, 4.5, 5.5 for the North, and 1.5, 2, 3, 4.5, 5.5, 7.5. So it looks like 5.5 to the North and 7.5 to the South. So getting very this match.
Well, this game's very interesting. This is Slide Away. That's James Adair then, I guess, with black against the Big Squeeze, who I forget who that is.
Let me check that for you. Right, the Big Squeeze is Michael Harris, who I used to play against as a junior sometimes. I haven't seen him for a long time, but he used to play in all the British junior championships way back in the rest of the time.
Yeah, now this is a fascinating position. So White's just played Queen E2 to E3.
Sorry, Michael, that probably makes you sound really old. I didn't mean to do that.
So Queen E2 to E3, because Queen E4 would have allowed Knight takes F2 check. Actually, let's break out the analysis board on this, because I think that's probably better. I think I've got to click away a few. Oh no, I didn't. Yes, I do have to click away that I don't want to upgrade. Lovely. So White didn't want to take on E4 because Knight F2 check was winning, obviously.
Winning the queen.
So Queen E3 interesting move, just threatening bishop takes d3. That's White's idea. So what can black do here? There are a number of interesting ideas. I mean, one line that just jumps into my head, but I don't know whether it's any good at all, is the move bishop h6.
That looks scary.
So I distract the queen, and then, well, there's a few ideas. I mean, moves like knight takes f2 are possible, but I think taking the rook is probably not the right way to go, I think. It feels a little bit slow somehow. I was looking at going bishop f3. That's just why it occurred to me. Pawn takes and queen e1. But whether king c2 is actually anything at all for black is probably not true. So bishop h6, but that's definitely going to be a motif somewhere, I think. I mean, c takes d4 is actually quite an interesting idea as well, I would have thought, because I still can't take on e4. If I go queen takes d4, then black will just play e5. And, well, then the bishop's coming into c5 as well, which is going to be really, really dangerous. And if you go knight takes d4, then I do think that this bishop h6 idea might actually work now. Because after takes, check, king c2, I am going to have a very dangerous discovered check, namely knight c5 check, which is going to be mate. So I am claiming, I think, that that c takes d4 is very, very strong indeed. I mean, there might be other moves as well. Queen a4 check is another one that springs to mind, but I think that this one is pretty simple, and I'm struggling to see what could be wrong with that. Queen d4 e5.
This is looking good.
It's looking very good indeed. Yeah, knight d4, bishop h6. Yeah, this is looking very, very strong.
That might be a little bit of an upset.
Oh, no, because
no.
James Adair, James Adair is black.
Is black, yes.
So no, that's. I guess that's what you. Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Yes.
Knight takes d4, bishop h6, queen g3, hitting the rook on b8, queen e1 check again. Anytime the queen moves away from that square, we've just got queen e1 and then discovered attack. Yeah, I think c takes d4 is terminal. I think, as far as I can see. Not too surprising. I mean, powerful black pieces, and yeah, just yeah, the whole world basically. Yeah, no, this is looking very, very good. All right. Are there any other ones?
I'm going to make some more requests for you. Okay. How about, this is from boards 31 to 40.
Ooh, okay.
How about Queen Eating Dragon against Silhillian? So that is Aaron Saunders against Neil Clark. Because I recognise Queen Eating Dragon, and I can't remember where from, but I think it's previous commentary.
Synchronium, it's knight takes f2 check. Knight takes f2 check, Synchronium. After c takes d4, queen takes e4, knight takes f2 check, wins the queen. So that's... oh, actually, I can show you on here. Aha, queen e4, knight takes f2 is the big idea. Sorry, Natasha, I'm going to... put away Geordie Ed and close that tab, and then hopefully we should see Queen Eating Dragon appear. Indeed.
Yes.
Oh.
And so Queen Eating Dragon is representing the south of England, and Silhillian the north of England.
Yeah, this is a bit of a wild one here.
This must have been a French defence? A modern defence, it says.
Modern defence, indeed.
Pterodactyl. That's quite appropriate for queen eating dragon.
Indeed. So knight takes e5, in principle a good move. Exploiting that pin and breaking up that white centre. Black's always got the capture on f1 in reserve. You don't need to play something like that immediately. The only thing that worries me about this move, knight e5, is the move queen b4 check. Should we? Oh, let's go on to an analysis board.
Yeah.
Because this could be quite worrying. This one, queen b4 check. So where can that king go? I mean, you don't want to go to e8. We'll just get knight d6 check. D8 will get queen f8 check. King d7. Could you survive? Well, king d8. Let's say that looks very risky. I mean, I think king d7 is kind of the move that you think of.
You wouldn't come out to f6. That would be too crazy.
Well, we're going to have f takes e6. That's what's worrying me a bit. It's not fatal. I mean, could I even take with a king on e6? Maybe I could. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just have a quick look at king d7 just to see whether there's anything dangerous in that. I mean, there I could play f takes e6 again. But I suppose even after a move like bishop e6, I'm dropping the attack on the rook, which is a bit of a shame, but it's probably, it's pretty good compensation for black. And I don't know, king e6, would that be possible? I don't see anything, but it does feel very odd indeed.
Yeah.
Feels very odd, but I don't actually see a checkmate here.
Oh, it's a pain about this pin, isn't it? You can't take the knight because the pawn's pinned to the king.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to play a move like king h1. That's the thing that kind of worries you with a king on e6, because now, of course, d takes c5 is a threat, and it's not clear. You'd love to be able to create some sort of threats with black against the white king, but actually the white king's quite safe. Now this feels
funny because those two bishops are lining up quite close to that white king, but I suppose the black king's in the open as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe after f takes e6, we should just go bishop takes e6. But I think white will play king h1 here, and yeah, black's got to be yeah, knight on g6. Very unclear. Probably okay for black, I think. With two bishops, and the one thing you would say is that bishop on h4 is really a little bit out of the way. I mean, if it was on the b8 h2 diagonal, you'd be very happy. But here, for the moment, it's a little bit just a little bit out of the way. So that's why there are all these problems with the with dark squares and checks like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I do another request from this set of
boards. Go for
it. Okay. Let's have Olufemi George against Stuskal Stewart. Sorry, Stuart Skelski with the name Stu Skell.
Which board? Oh, okay, yeah, I can see.
So that is board 34.
Let's have a look. I'm going to have to let me just close some tabs again because I'm oh well, we'll soldier on like this. Up. Let's have a look. Horsey chess against buzzards. Oh,
how's
did you see?
There?
Sorry. Did you see that? No. Black did play this idea of b5.
Gosh.
And b4.
Yes.
So yeah, I think black's actually doing quite well here, I think.
Oh, because if bishop d4 would black then come in with the knight onto d2?
Well, you'll have queen d3 then, and that knight's getting a little bit trapped. It's probably after bishop d4. Oh, that is a bit annoying, actually. Bishop f1 was an interesting move there. I wonder whether black. Just wondering after bishop f1, what appealed to me actually was the move bishop c5. Just I want to play bishop takes f2 and rook h2.
Yeah, that looks scary.
I don't know whether it's possible or not, but that's the sort of move I'd really want to play. b4 is a little bit unfortunate in a way because it kind of blocks. Well, pardon me. Black was getting an awful lot of counterplay there, and all of a sudden you're blocking the b file. So.
Oh, an update in the score: 15-11 to the North now. So North really has been making a big comeback. 5-2 on the. This must be on the boards 100 onwards. 5-2 to the North there. So they started off 2-0 down and have pulled back to 5-2. Yeah, but 3-0 on boards to South on boards 21 to 30.
Let's have a look. You had a request there, and I've tried to do it, but I didn't seem to have it. Let's try Stuart Skelsey again.
Thank you, by the way, to try or not to try, for doing the maths for me. That helps a lot, actually. There's 10 different numbers to add up.
I'm not getting any that game. I'm afraid. Fine. So actually, by the way, just a little bit of an update there. So Slide Away played Rook b3. Didn't play my c takes d4, but played Rook b3. And White played Bishop d2. So Rook d3, threatening quite a few ways of winning the queen.
Yeah.
And also defending the knight on d3. So that's a pretty good.
Can't you still win the queen with knight b? Oh no, that's attacking the queen. So there's tactics. There's all sorts of tactics. I was looking at knight b2, but if you go knight b2, the king has to move.
I'll go king c1. I think is what I'll do.
Yes, that's what you'll do.
I think that queen.
I could then move my queen.
Yeah, queen a4 is. I was going to say queen a4 looks like a very strong move as well.
Very another discovered attack threatened. So discovered attacks from the knight on the queen, and discovered attacks if you move the rook to attack the king. So White would want to move both the queen and the king out the way, but that's of course impossible.
Yeah, I don't.
I think this is looking very tricky for White now.
Yeah,
because you still can't play queen takes e4 because you've still got this knight f2 check.
Yeah, bishop d3 allows rook takes d3 check. So yeah, no, I think this is not going to last very long now. I think.
Yeah. The big squeeze has been squeezed.
Indeed. We haven't looked at the top game for a little while. Let's have a little look at that one.
So this is Bogdan. Against Andrew Horton. Smooth as a hedgehog.
Took a while to come up, but there we are. So the scenario that I was sort of painting a little bit has indeed turned out. So so this move e5 from Bogdan, it's kind of weakened the light squares around the in the center, also a little bit on the king side, and White's just got the light square bishop. Like White wasn't worried about bishop takes f3. This feels a little bit awkward for Black. There's a lot of things that are tricky. I think White's going to play rook d1 simply, and then there's pressure against f7, and there's pressure against e5, and this makes it hard for Black to fight on the d file. I think White's got a very pleasant advantage here. It's I think it's somewhat. It's very easy for Black to go wrong. I mean, I don't think. G6 looks horrible in this position. Yeah, the problem is you need that pawn on G6 to to cover f5 to sort of cover the light squares a little bit. But yeah, I mean, white has opportunities of going f4 later. This is very dangerous for black, I think.
Those bishops look so good, don't they?
Yeah, they're very nicely placed. This one attacking f7. I mean, maybe black will play f6 and try and hang on like that. But I do think this is going to be very, very, very difficult for black. I think white's always going to have nice possibilities to attack. I mean, there's even stuff like bishop c3 at some stage, just attacking a5. So and this knight on b6, of course, it's attacking a4, but it's kind of passive, really. Kind of dominated by the light squared bishop, and obviously not contributing to the king's side either. So.
Should we check in on James Morby against Andrew Lewis? I see you've got that one open still.
Ooh. A lot has happened here. So wow. White has won a pawn here. Look at how quickly white's playing. Just 49 minutes to 10. So white has won a pawn on the but black's actually done pretty well here. Pass pawn on c3, and a5 is weak. I think the key thing here is white able to play bishop d5?
Okay.
Because that looks like a somewhat annoying move. It covers the a5 pawn, swaps off the bishops. I think after bishop d5 they go knight d5, and it's kind of hard for black to get its pieces active. But still, I don't know. He could play king. He could take it off and go king h7.
So this is looking quite promising for white then.
It's quite promising for white, I think. But black does have some counter chances, but it's obviously a little bit short of time as well, so that's going to make it a bit tricky.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you've got to be a little bit careful. For example, just to put up the live analysis board. If I go bishop d5 takes, and if you played queen takes d5, I could take and go c2 here, which is kind of awkward. I mean, I'm threatening bishop b2. I'm also threatening rook takes c2. And if you play a move like knight e3, which maybe at first sight looks like the move you want to play, you're attacking c2. Then black just goes rook takes c3.
Oh dear.
Takes and bishop b2. So I don't think that you can play queen takes d5. I think that's probably quite poor. But you'd probably take with a knight on d5.
Yeah.
This is kind of the question: how much counterplay there is here for black. I sort of say king h7 is quite natural, just to move the king out of the way of any checks or anything.
So white's got what, one extra pawn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against
one extra
5.
Pawn.
Yeah, although that pawn is quite far advanced.
Yeah.
Black's pawn is quite far advanced.
Maybe go knight e3 with white, just to either play knight c4 or even knight c2 just to cover. a5 isn't hanging because obviously the rook on the 8 is hanging. Yeah. I think white's probably better, but it is quite. It's not simple. I think that's the. Yeah. I think that's definitely true. And the one thing that, of course, the one big thing. James has played bishop d5. I think that the one big thing about it is that white's got much more time than black, so that's going to be quite tricky.
That helps.
Or maybe just see how.
So let's just see whether he recaptures with the knight, like we think that he will. All right, and I'm just having a quick check on the scores as well. Should have a way of adding these up quickly. 5, 6, 7, 8.5, 9.5. 11, 17 and a half, 18, 19 for the north.
Okay.
6, 7, 8 and a half, 10 and a half, 11 and a half, 12, 13, 14 for the south.
The north
So
is
the north's
running away with
now.
it now. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Yes.
We'll have a look.
And we just in the top 10 boards we have it's 1-1. And that's been the draw we had for the captains. And we also have a draw in the game we were looking at earlier, which is Yichenhan against Joe Conlon. So we thought Black was doing quite well in that one, didn't we, earlier?
Yeah, it was. I'm not too surprised it ended in a draw. It was just a small. There we are. James Morby took with a knight, as expected. So, actually, no, that's. Yeah, I mean, actually, White's got a threat here, which is knight takes c3. I've just realised, because if queen takes c3, then queen e8 is check.
Okay. Yes.
So actually, and something like rook e6, I go queen c4. So I think king h7 or something like that is quite probably quite an important move to play.
Yeah, because then if you do go along this knight takes c3 line, queen takes c3 is possible now because queen 8 is no longer check.
Yeah. I mean, actually, come to think of it, there's also rook d8 in this position. But I guess White will probably play e4 then, and just consolidate himself a little bit. Complicated position, but I do think I do think that White is better there.
How's Dairy Queen getting on?
How's Dairy Queen getting on? Let's have a look. Oh, actually, it's sort of proceeded as we expected. So White's played knight e4, f4, queen h6. Slightly tricky move, I think, looking for f5, queen e3. I'd be quite tempted with White now to play. I'm not quite sure about the move order, but to take on c6 and either play f5 first or go queen d4. I quite like that. And then afterwards you can look for f5 later. I think knight c6 and queen d4 would be a very nice move. Probably just a little edge for White there. Just a slightly better bishop, and her queen's a little bit misplaced there. Nothing huge, I don't think, but quite pleasant.
Okay. How about horsey chess?
Horsey chess. Which board was that?
That was 20.
20, wasn't it?
Let me just find that for you.
It was Zoe Varney, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Buzzard.
Yes. 26.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, this is... sorry, let me just close a few of these windows, otherwise we're not going to see... Horsey chess. So horsey chess is quite a bit behind on time, but has actually won a pawn.
Okay.
But it's opposite colored bishops, and that, in principle, I don't think Black's really worth.
You're not threatening anything like rook h2 and then queen f2.
Well, you are, but it's White's move here. So, but yeah, actually, there's a few dangerous threats here. I mean, just rook h8 simply is actually quite an awkward threat to meet, because if you go h3, then I've got bishop takes g3. So I think White's got to be a little bit careful here. The point is just this whole structure. It's very, very solid. You don't really notice the missing pawn there. And
actually, be careful. Would that be something? Is bishop g2 maybe?
I go rook h8 then. Should I put the analysis board on? That's probably easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Martin. I think, I'm even wondering whether Black's a bit better in this position. I mean, so if you go bishop g2, amongst other things, I mean, because maybe rook h2 is still strong here, Rook h2, king takes, queen takes, and well, I don't. Yeah, you tell you tell me how to deal with those threats. I mean, rook h8 check is just huge there. So that might even be, but I mean, rook h8 just would be very easy because of h3, we go bishop g3 simply.
G3, haven't you?
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
What I was thinking about actually was to play rook d1.
Okay.
But I think then we're going to go. Well, I mean, basically, the idea is to meet this with something like this, for example, and just swap off. But I'm not 100% convinced about this because actually bishop c5, will be an advantage anyway. I mean, king h2, bishop d4. Yeah. We're hitting, b2 and f2 at the very least. I mean, there's maybe more. So wait a minute here. This could actually be very serious.
So this is looking good for black, right?
Could we maybe go rook e3?
Okay, blocking off that diagonal. That looks sensible, doesn't it? What if you still go rook h8?
Yeah, then I'll go h3, I guess. Or h4, I'm not sure which, but maybe say h3.
Yeah.
I mean, rook f5 is interesting. I'm threatening bishop takes g3 here, because if fg, I've got queen e3, and rook takes g3, I'll have queen f2.
Yeah.
But maybe you can defend, with something like queen e2. And if bishop c5, then you've got rook f3. Something like this. I'd rather be black, Yeah, absolutely, Martin. Absolutely agree. I'd rather be black here because I don't think there's any real risk of losing, and white's got to be very careful. But maybe rook e3 is a way to play it. Could be. Nothing occurs to me immediately there, but no, but oh dear, yeah, it's quite a shocking position, and of course, white's only got 4 minutes left now, thinking a long time here. Yeah. So quite a tricky position for white there. Black's got 41 minutes.
Okay.
Queen a6. Okay. Trying to swap off queens, and queen c5 played immediately. My goodness. I think maybe white's going to play queen c4 here. And just try and chase the queen to a draw there. That's possible. Could be.
Okay. Do you want to look at board number 69? And we'll check Danny Rosenbaum.
Oh, yes, of course. Board number 69.
So he's playing for the South against Edwin Smith.
Yeah, well done, Joseph. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. The big squeeze.
Good to see you back playing chess after a decade in the North v South match. I can see it's this grudge match has enticed a lot of people back into chess. Oh, thank you, Joe. Oh, this position's looking very dangerous now.
Bishop h6 was played eventually, so that lovely
at the moment we think North is in the lead. Let me while Matthew's talking, I will get a check on the score for you.
Oh, so we've got Della Corte against Edwin Smith. Della Corte is Danny Rosenbaum. That's he's the ECF publicity director. And well, yeah, I mean,
So
there's
I think North has 21.
There's a big threat in this position.
21-16 is what I make it at the moment to the North. Let me just have a look for this threat. 1 minute. Right. So Black is doing a threat. Let me see.
Yes, thanks to try or not to try. Yeah, draw for horsey chess. So they agreed a draw in that position.
Okay, a draw. That's probably White would be happy to get a draw from there because it was looking pawn up, but looking a little bit risky.
Can you spot the threat?
No, I'm just trying to spot the threat.
It's a very subtle, very difficult threat. You've actually only got one piece on the board, so.
Oh my goodness, Bishop F8.
Indeed.
Whose go is it? Black's go.
Black's go.
Oh, be careful, Edwin Smith.
Oh, okay. So
Edwin Smith has created an escape scarce for the king.
We might go King F5. That would be tempting E3. Tempting E3. Yes, that's what Danny's done. That's what Danny's done. He's gone King takes F5. Still got a threat of Bishop F8 check. King G7 is the...
Yes, you have to bring your king backwards, don't you? To stop that one. It's nice having a mate threat in an endgame like that.
Indeed.
Wouldn't it be nice if he manages to get checked on it while being commentated on?
Oh my goodness. Martin sees the threat, indeed. It's actually... friend Steve Giddings always said that in opposite-coloured bishop endings, the light-squared bishop is the stronger one, which I think...
Was there an extra reason for that?
No, but he called it Giddings' rule, so it's... Black's played King G7, well done.
Keith has a rule about which pawns are the stronger, doesn't he? Keith Arkle.
Indeed, yeah, indeed. So it's the G-pawn, is the G-pawn the strongest? Or the most important? Yeah.
F and G are could be the strongest, and they kind of get stronger as you go towards the king side in general. Although you can get rid of your H pawn, I think. I think he didn't categorize the H pawn.
Yeah, that's in Keith's recent book, all about his endings. Well worth a read. Let's have a look. Let's go back to see Smooth as Hedgehog against B Unit. Bogdan's spending quite a bit of time here now. Yeah, this was the kind of thing I was a bit worried about, to be honest. You swap off, you play F6, you swap off all the rooks, and now the queen comes into E6. And of course, there's this massive threat against G8. So an F4 is coming in as well. I'm actually wondering whether Black's just lost here in actual fact.
Gosh. South pulled one back on board 29, which is Aardvark has got a win. George.
Great names. Aardvark.
So you think this is winning for White?
Yeah, because I think if Black goes, let's just put a little analysis board onto it. But yeah, that's right, Martin. I mean, really a monster, that light square bishop. It's and of course, the knight on b6 is so useless here. It's really not doing anything at all. I mean, you can't move the queen off the back rank because of queen g8, and I think king g7 is, you'd say that was more or less the only move, but I think I can just play f4 here.
Okay.
Because if I go if ef4, then I go queen f7 check, king h6, and bishop f6, and that light squared bishop is a monster because it's stopping queen d1 to g4 with perpetual. So I mean, if Black's escaping, then Black's very lucky. I mean, saying that, queen d7, could you get away with this? Queen d7.
Gosh.
I've got bishop g7, king. Well, at the very least, I mean, I could have king h5 and queen f4, for example, when I'm a pawn up, because queen g7, whoops, allows bishop d1 with mate.
Oh, very nice.
So I mean, something like this could, but this looks really, really, really bad for really bad for the B unit. What did the B unit do? Went king g7, but I mean, actually, even you could even go queen f7 takes b7 as well, which wouldn't be stupid. Yeah. But that would allow some counterplay with queen d3. So I think f4 is really the the really natural move that everyone would play. Although, keep on analysing more and more. So f4 maybe black can try and play this move queen d2. Oh, was that played? No. Queen d2. Oh, sorry, I'm not on an analysis board. Why not?
So does that mean he's played f4?
No, that ended up being my guess. So f4. Yep. f4.
You might win the guessing competition.
Queen d2. How are we going to do this? Is this correct what I'm looking at, or stupid? Well, there's all sorts of ways of doing this. I mean, this is actually not so stupid. I could take, go queen b7. And if king h6, then I go bishop g8, for example. And the queen on b7 is stopping you from going queen b1 to e4. So, I mean, this would be very, very unpleasant. Just at the very least. I mean, black can play. I think black's only defense would be to go queen check, and then maybe g5. But then I can just play e4 probably, and just block that, and then just go queen h7.
Yeah.
I mean, there's maybe black can try a desperado with bishop e7, but I mean, we'll have some way to deal with that. I'm pretty sure. It's
You could go bishop takes h7.
Yeah, you can do that. Bishop h7's a good move, actually. Protects e4 as well, so you're really threatening queen e7. So yeah, no, I mean, this is really very bad, I think. So I think just a little bit of calculation and with f4 and off you go, I think.
So this is Andy Horton against Bogdan Lalic. Thank you, Ian. Yeah. Ian, have you been playing today, and how was your game, if so?
Just close a few tabs.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a result there.
Yeah, squeeze. Slide away. Yeah, slide away. One against the big squeeze. Yeah, that was expected.
Yes, strong game was James Adair, wasn't it, against Michael Harris?
Yeah, strong game. Got an update on the score, Natasha?
Well, let me just. That takes me a little moment to add it all up.
Right. This one's got a bit wild here. What is happening here?
27.5 for the North.
Wow. So f takes g6, we are going to have f7. So we can't do that. But
16
if queen
b5
b5.
For the South.
So oh my goodness. My goodness. So queen b5, bishop f7 is quite annoying because queen e6 or bishop e6 is coming in and then f7. And well, we talked about this bishop on h4 being a little bit out of the way. And that's turning out to be a bit, kind of a problem, really.
So looking good for white here.
It is looking pretty good for white here, I think. Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
this
can't.
would be the South and back, I believe, if Queen Eating Dragon manages to win this.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Okay, I'll just close that one off. Smooth as a hedgehog, still thinking. Dairy Queen, how's Dairy Queen doing? Oh, I played.
I'm going to pick a game from one of the lower boards.
Great stuff.
If you like.
F5 and F6. Not sure about F6 somehow. Gives the bishop a square on E6 again, but an aggressive move, of course. And, well, depending on what the... Well, if you go something like G6, then obviously the queen's very short of squares there. You could even look to play B5 with white and line up on F7. Looking quite promising for white, that one. So, okay, yes, I'll just close... Just give me 1 second to close a few analysis windows. Always a little bit slow, this interface. Whoop. And then, oh, should we just have a quick look at Potato the Cat, first of all, just to see how James Morby was doing? Oh, actually, that was an analysis. Pardon me. Let's have a look. Have we got an update on that game? No, we're staying with the analysis. Well, we'll see that one a bit later. And I'll just close Horsey Chess against Buzzard. That was analysis, but that actually ended up in a draw. Okay, Natasha.
Okay, I'm going to go for, I don't know if it's finished yet, but Julie O against Richard Oxnard. It's board 82. And so Julie O is Poisonous Mushroom for the south. And Richard Oxnard is Roxy 1950 for the north.
Let's have a look. Do we have Poisonous Mushroom? We do.
Excellent.
Oh, let's have a look. So, actually, equal pawns. I guess white's got a decent edge, possibly, because that bishop on G7 is a little bit hemmed in. But well, the bishop on H2 is not so fantastic either. So probably not very much in it, I would have thought.
What would you do? Bring your knight round, perhaps, for black? Start a tour from A5 to B7.
Yeah, I mean, white would really want to play knight D2 to E4. So if white does that, then something like knight C5, would be a good reply. Trying to work out what to do with white here. It's not easy. I think I guess maybe try and exchange off a pair of rooks, because it's a bit hard to... Or maybe go rook FD1, I think, maybe. Just rook FD1, and then, try and keep this knight a little bit hemmed in, and just aim to take and go rook D5. I mean, black could play a move like E4, for example, just attacking the pawn on C3. So I think it's even Stevens, this game, I think.
It's nice how the games have been evenly balanced all the way down, and that it's sort of very competitive matches, even though it's a 100-board match.
Yeah, no, it's still, and the score is still, not too far apart yet. So still plenty to play for both sides.
Yeah. So I suppose you're aiming for what, 54 is your winning score?
I think so. Yeah. If really all 107 boards played turned up, then you're going for
Going for 54. And so what has the North got now? 6, 8. 11, 12, 13, 14 and a half, 15, 18, 19, 25, 29, 30 and a half.
Okay, that's pretty...
Still some way to go.
Yeah, but well on the way. Let's have a look. Let's maybe have a quick look at... I think I should probably have the top board game there just up. That would be a good one to have. Okay. So White played something slightly different. It was also possible. I think I also mentioned it in passing. Just played Queen F7 and took the pawn on B7. The idea behind that is actually that if the Queen moves to D2, for example, like this, then we've got moves like Bishop G8 always, which could be very, very dangerous. I imagine, is that mating? I would imagine that would be that will just simply be mating. So so actually, if Black can't do that, then it is kind of difficult for Black to free himself there.
Although White does have a position, though. Black's ahead quite far on the clock. Yeah, actually, there's still a lot of calculation to do.
Well, I'm actually wondering about playing Bishop E1, actually.
Oh, that's interesting. Bishop E1.
Just looking for Queen D2. That's the basic idea.
Counterattack on F2.
But I think that maybe after Bishop E1, should we have a quick analysis?
Yes.
Window. Let's do that. This is quite an interesting game. This. So. Whack. So if I go Bishop E1, then maybe White can simply play Bishop C1, stops Queen D2, and actually introduces the idea of going E4 with check, which would be quite annoying.
Oh yes.
Is there anything I could do about that?
The knight's still a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a very annoying piece, that one.
You might want to go knight D7 to C5 or something like that. But you've still got this,
board 94.
94, yes, of course. Board 94. How did you do in the game, John? We can find that out.
I've already got to close a few tabs, I think, otherwise.
94 was a win for John Stubbs. Korchnoi, 987. Against James Blair, Big Chess Fan 12.
That game is not coming up, I'm afraid.
The game is over now, so does that...
I don't think that should really make a difference, to be honest.
Doesn't matter. Because you could look for Korchnoi 987 and then just see the last game he played.
Oh, okay, let's have a look at that. Is it /observe?
Yeah, it might be, I think so.
Oh dear, sorry. How do you spell Korchnoi?
Let me work out how to spell Korchnoi.
There's just various ways of doing it.
C-O-R-C-H. Sorry, K-O-R-C-H-N-O-I 987.
Oh, no T, okay.
No T. Looks like a game with lots of action in it. Black won but was losing, and then trapped the white queen.
Oh dear.
Korchnoi, K-O-R-C-H-N-O-I. Yeah, that's right. You got it right.
Yeah, I'm not.
How do we see it? Yeah.
I'm not getting it up.
I think it's maybe search. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah. Sorry, John. It's a little bit. The interface is not always very easy somehow, and struggling a bit to find it.
All right. Let me see how it's all going.
I'm just going to close some tabs because it's going all a little bit slowly, and I think every time I click on a board, it opens a new chess.com tab, unfortunately. So just need to close a few things.
Yes, we could check back in on Paul Dargan. Chris Fegan's won, by the way, against Malola Prasath.
Well done, Chris.
So board 11 was nut flush, and yeah, I could check on that one. That was looking pretty even in the opening. Oh, and Julian Shepley has lost to Alex Billings.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was the London system, which was quite interesting.
Yes.
There we are. Just getting there. Just sorry about this to the viewers, but just need to...
Ooh, a lot of action from Poisonous Mushroom.
Okay.
I'll check that in a moment.
Right, I think I'm... that feels a little bit better. Indeed, Poisonous Mushroom. Yeah, I think this is still looking quite well. Actually, I think White should probably be bringing that king over just to help deal with the pawn. Should be all right. I mean, there's very few pawns left on the board, so you know, you would have thought that White would be able to draw this somehow, but yeah, I think obviously, well, Black's got the more frightening prospects, put it that way, with a nice passed pawn on the queen side. I'm just gonna. Oh, good lord! I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to. Just give me one moment. I've pressed the wrong button on my computer.
Okay. I will have another go at the score. So
right, let's have a look. I'm just going to give another go for John, just to see whether I can get that game up.
Yeah.
Where was it again? It was board 94, wasn't it?
Yes.
Let me have a little go again. Because I mean, it really should work, of course, but it's just...
36.5, I make it now for the North.
Now... I'm sorry, John. It's just not coming up.
21.
Dairy Queen and Eldritch have drawn, so that we were watching that game. Yeah, bringing the king in there. That one's probably going to be a draw as well, I think. Bogdan still thinking in this position. Yeah, very difficult position.
Okay, nut flush board 11.
I'm wondering, bishop e1, bishop c1, f5, queen d3. Okay, queen d3. But I think now that bishop g8 is going to be the move now. Bishop g8, and if g5, then I think I can just play e4. I think this is just winning on the. This is just winning, isn't it? I think. Maybe bishop g8. Black's going to play knight d7 just to block the queen that way. That might be the idea.
Okay.
Yeah, that's possible. But maybe slightly worrying. But no, not clear. Not clear. It's quite nice. I mean, from that point of view, the getting that knight active is, you know, just a very nice achievement, really. Because if you bring the knight to d7, then you can bring the knight round to f8 as well after, cover everything, and well, at least you know that knight's a defensive piece. Downside is that the b pawn runs, but okay. Quite complicated. I mean, bishop g8, knight d7. How are we going to do this? I quite feel like playing a move like king g2 just to get the king safe.
Maybe I should put the bishop to e6 so the knight can't go.
Well, then I can just play something like queen b1 takes b2. That's the problem. Let me just put a live analysis session on. So if I play bishop here, then I'm going to go queen b1 check, king there, queen b2. And, well, if you go queen b6... actually, I was going to say bishop e1, but you could even...
Yeah.
Then it must be said that that e4 is possible.
Threatening queen e3.
Threatening queen e3, but I don't know. I'm not too sure about this really.
Yeah,
I mean,
we probably can do better than this. Yeah.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, I could probably play e4 here in actual fact with black and threaten bishop e1 after. So, but if I go bishop g8, then you're going to go knight d7 here. And I am not 100% sure how we're going to do this with white because, I mean, I'm threatening queen b1 takes b2. That's the point.
Yeah. So what about this king g2 then?
Yeah, I mean, king g2 seems interesting. And then I was thinking maybe I go bishop e1.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, maybe it's time to just be sensible and play a move like queen e4, for example.
Yeah.
Obviously, queen e2 would just allow queen h4 check, and then queen h7 check, and queen f7 mate. Yeah. So, and I'm guessing that trading is going to be very bad because after knight c5, I'll go b6 simply.
Oh yes, that pawn's running.
Which is
yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, although not not over yet, but yeah, I mean it does look very strong for white. But yeah, a little bit of a shame to have allowed the knight to get active again. But maybe if we just I suppose actually maybe even stronger actually is we go bishop g8, knight d7. We could go queen d5 here maybe.
Okay, again going for the exchange.
And the bishop's on d5, supporting the pawn on already.
Yeah. Queen b1.
Yeah, no, queen b1. Then I go here, and I come here, and I've got queen h7 check coming in.
Yeah.
Which is going to be mate actually. Bishop e1. Queen. Well, it depends how you want to do it really. I can go queen h3 check. Queen h7.
That does the trick.
F7. So yeah, this is.
So Bogdan may be in a bit of trouble here.
Bogdan is definitely in trouble, but as I said, I would have preferred f4 just to activate all my pieces rather than going for this pawn grab. But I think it probably is quite good. Oh, bishop g8, knight d7 has been played. So yeah, now white's got to think about what he wants to do. Queen d5 is maybe practical, but yeah, I mean the thing about queen d5 is that I can take good lord, well, queen takes d5, bishop takes d5, knight c5, b6, knight a4, b7, bishop d6 covers b8. I can go bishop a3. I mean it's all very horrible for black, but yeah, not 100% sure that it's that black's completely, utterly lost yet. Still some work to do, I think.
Looks like Tim Wall is still playing against Jamie Wilson, and Ken Neat is still playing against Christoph Brixell.
Okay,
so
let's have a look at
the ones to check in.
Let's have a look at
and
Ken
it's
Neat.
looking. James Morby, was that a draw in the end, or it looks like that's still going on from my?
That should still be going on. Yeah.
Okay, so we could have a little look at that as well.
Let's have a look. So Ken Neat against. Yeah, actually, white is just a piece up there.
Oh, what?
And threatening rook f1, trapping the queen as well. So I think that's looking very good for the south then, I suppose.
Let me check which round that is. Yosliani's Ken Neat, who's the north.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. Ken Neat, the legend, indeed.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at James Morby. see how that one went. Hello. Or has that game finished, actually?
I think it might finish because I thought it had popped up as a draw on chess.com. It just hasn't made it to the results yet.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we kind of lost that one, I'm afraid.
How about Tim Wall? How's he going along?
Tim Wall, let's have a look.
Board 7.
Yeah, still going strong. Oh, that's a nice position for black. Just white offering the exchange of queens. I think you probably don't accept that. You probably play the queen back to h6 or to h5, and try and push the pawns. The only thing that's slightly tempting to take on g2, because you could take back, you go knight takes d3 and go e4. You know, that would be a possibility. But I don't think it's that strong.
Yeah, Ian's saying lots of strong players from the northeast playing in this match.
Indeed.
And so Tim's does a lot of organisation as well, doesn't he, in the northeast? Because he has that. I've played in one of his tournaments years ago in Newcastle, I think.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, his Newcastle tournaments. That's right.
Very nice tournament it was. Yeah.
Yes, they started quite late, I think. So that one's still going to be going for a little while, I think.
See that. Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Has Book didn't come up with anything, or is he still having? I think.
Oh yeah, no, actually, this is.
It's gone.
It's what I actually said. It's what I actually said.
Yes.
King g2, bishop e1 was indeed a slightly annoying move here. But I wonder whether. Well, I think queen e4 is definitely a reasonable idea here, because the bishop on e1 is sort of out of action here. Queen e4 is definitely the most practical move. Now I wonder whether
He's only got less than 3 minutes left.
Yeah. So queen e4 is the most practical move. I mean, that's definitely, which I think is, it's very, very strong for
white.
Very, very strong for white there.
The north.
And he's played it. I was just wondering whether I could play bishop c1 actually, which was also not so stupid, but okay. I mean, queen e4 looks quite good. So we're expecting queen e4 takes. Probably knight c5. We go b6. Yeah, b6 now, I think. We go bishop b4. And...
So can't we just then go bishop d5 and b7?
Yeah, we're going to take... Yeah, so let me put an analysis board up to show you. So b6, we go bishop b4. Bishop d5 maybe. We go knight a4.
Okay.
And b7,
bishop
we go...
come in and stop it on d6.
So I go bishop a3, and you go bishop probably b8. And now probably you could do something like bishop here. King's actually a little bit short of squares, but maybe not that clear. Just king g5. You've probably got enough squares to deal with that.
We could try and do a mate in the middle of the board like Della Corte was trying.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, yeah. This is quite dangerous. I mean, king g3. Knight c3. h4. King h5. Only move. Yeah, I mean, maybe you just play...
come in and give a check.
Yeah, maybe you just play f3 and you're threatening bishop e6 to g4. And, if you take like this, then you get a passed d pawn. So something like this could be very dangerous. This may, yeah, maybe the king should go to h5 instead. I can probably just do the same. Tricky. I mean, I do think, yeah, I think that white could have played it a little bit more clearly. I think, just so I think this is a little bit fraught. It's requires quite precise calculation, and you sort of feel that shouldn't really have been the case. But I think that's probably quite good. Let's have a look. Has anything happened there? Smooth as a hedgehog is definitely running down his time there.
Yeah. Tricky.
It's not easy, yeah. Bogdan's defended the best you can, I think, really. But I think you could play the next few moves quite quickly. Bishop d5, this bishop a3 idea, bishop f8, and just let black, worry about it, really. Because you're going to need more than 15 seconds increment to calculate this properly, I feel. It's easy to let this one slip away.
Why don't we check in again on Peter Chaplin? Board 16.
We can definitely do that.
Bogdan has done well to try and hold this, yeah.
Let's have a look. So black in a little bit of trouble here, because I don't know whether bishop h6 check is.
Oh yes. I was just looking at that.
Is going to work. It's maybe not quite working yet, but it's if there are those sort of tricks in the position, then it's obviously there's some cause for concern.
So if it happens now, black would take on h6, you'd take on f8.
Yeah, you go probably.
But you can't take on f7 because the queen's defending it.
They go king h5, and I think you're probably well. Yeah, I think you're probably going to be safe. Somehow you're going to be slightly safe. I mean, something like queen d7, for example, just looks very strong, and just pick up the pawn on b7. I mean, that seems.
Yeah, just try and queen that b pawn.
Yeah, because I can't really see.
Theme of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see black getting any sort of perpetual there. So I think that just queen d7 would be very, very strong here. You could even try and be even sneakier and go queen d3 first, threatening bishop h6 check. And if black goes queen f6, then you go queen d7. And you're even safer. But I don't think that's really required.
Clever.
Just take a quick look at. There we are. Indeed. So.
Queens are off.
Yeah. White played f4. I'm not sure that f4 was the one, because that's kind of weakening. That's going to activate that bishop on b8. I think he wanted to play f3 and then h4. But okay. King f3.
Do you still like it for white?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I wouldn't want to be black in this position. But I mean, it's very, very easy just to blunder and lose. That's the basic thing.
Well, 15 seconds increment. It is quite a lot. But I could imagine getting nervous. You like playing against a Grandmaster and having had such a good positional game.
Yeah. How does black get out of this? I mean, white's basic aim looks like it's going to be bishop e6 and bishop e7, bishop e6, bishop g4 check, and then bishop e7, just to threaten a mate on f6. That looks like the best way to do it, and it's not at all clear how black is going to deal with that. Well, I mean, let's just I'll just put a little analysis board on that because it's quite an interesting little one, I have to say. So let's say knight c3. That seems the most obvious. I go bishop e6. Maybe have g5 at some stage. I'm not sure. A4. Then I would go probably bishop check, king there, and bishop e7.
Is it 15 or 5 seconds increment? Let's have a look. I had in my mind 15, but if it's 5, that's a lot scarier for white.
But you could go knight takes e4 here. Which is kind of disappointing, really. Well, actually, is that clear? I mean, I could take... No, it just takes there. This is going to be bishop f6 and takes here. I take here. a3, bishop e5. Bishop takes a2. Well, white gets the first check, but it's probably not going to be decisive. Yeah, this is tricky. This is I mean, I could take on h7 and play f5, but I'm not going to catch the king that way. So I wanted to play the pawn to f3 and the other pawn to h4. You know, that was the that felt like a better way of catching the black king than this, because, well, this is all very, you know, under pressure basically. So knight c3, bishop e6, a4. I suppose, you know, one thing that you could consider is just to see whether you could even catch the knight and go bishop b4 and bishop d7 and just try and win that a pawn. That would also be possible.
A quieter way of playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's always very good for you know, for white, but it's just it's kind of tough to find the correct way to mate in actual fact. Let's have a little look, see what's going on there. So he's done it the different way there. He probably had to in actual fact.
It's gone f5.
Yeah, because black took on f4 and then just has gone to attack this structure. Still, well, pawn up for white. h2 is hanging now.
Knight check.
e5. King e2. This feels like something that the black could draw, really. Although I don't know whether he should. You know, I mean, that's. But it does feel like something that's quite hard for white to keep control of.
Yeah.
Especially with limited time. So.
Yeah, it looks like it is 15 seconds.
Yeah, that does.
Just added on there. That makes sense.
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, I guess black takes on f5 here. Just reduce the number of pawns. We take with the bishop, I think. I think ef would not be a good one. And what have we got? White's got an extra pawn and a big pass b pawn. So
I mean, I think that feels like it ought to be winning still.
Yeah, I mean, in principle, if you offered this, I think, you know, at the start you'd definitely say, okay, right, I'll take it. It's just that, you know, having had such a great position before, you've kind of lost some control really to.
Nick, yes, I'm just adding up 2. I will do some more sums and add it all up. Okay, so.
Right, this one's going to be a bit of a long one, I suppose, so we can just have a look at some other things. So let's have a quick look back at Tim Peter. Tim did play this e4 idea. Interesting. I'm not 100% sure about it, but it was an idea. It was very tempting.
50.5 for the north.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that's very close to the target. So we reckon the target's 54. Someone should check my maths.
Yeah, rook takes c4. Only thing is that bishop on c8 is not fantastic, so you're going to have to move that around somewhere, you know. But yeah, I mean, reasonable chances for both sides. Probably black,
35
rather be
and a half
black.
I make it for the south.
Oh, good lord, 50 and a half, 45 and a half. It's a tight match.
I make it. No, I make it quite a big lead for the north.
Okay.
Beer beckons for Mick. That's a good idea. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a beer as well. That'd be nice. But then my maths will go all wrong, you see. I gotta stay sober to keep adding up properly. Mind you, nobody else is adding up, so no one's going to tell me I got it wrong.
Let's have a look. Smooth as Hedgehog B unit. I'll just take that analysis session off. Did we have... let's have a look. Peter Chaplin, oh dear. Yeah, that did actually happen. White went Queen D7, took the pawn, took the pawn.
Yes, so that B pawn is looking very dangerous.
Yeah, that's another game for the North, I think.
Yes.
Hard luck, Peter.
Lucky.
So, yeah, it looks like another...
the total.
Indeed.
Yeah, 6-3, it's appeared.
Taking on B6, yeah, that
Small B and Andrew Lewis. How's that one?
I don't know. I tried to go to it, but I didn't actually manage to see that one. So that must have been. Can't you see that whether it's a result or not?
No, I can't. It doesn't. It hasn't updated on here, so it looks from here like it's still going. Let's have a look. We could look at David Mooney against John Hodgson. That was board 9. So Deanan 2020 against East Coker.
All righty.
Looking up Big Chess Fan 12, just a thought. We can try that. I think how you do that is on... I think you can do it on search.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. It's just when I'm streaming, the interface is really, really slow. That's why struggling a little bit with that. Let's have a look. Deanan is just a pawn up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in principle, yeah, black should be winning this. Clear pawn up. Never easy with queen and pawn endings, but...
and I think black is the north again. Yes.
Good lord.
Yeah, so it looks promising for the north again.
Yeah. I mean, I think...
search your player and find the recent games. It should be possible, says Martin.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I'll give it a go.
Give it a go.
It's just...
So I think... oh, yes, I see what you're doing. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just not... I'm not getting anything back. I'm pressing enter like a lunatic.
Yeah. But what about the search at the bottom left?
What do you mean search bottom left?
The actual search.
This one?
Yeah. Does that work?
No, this is something else, Natasha. This is something else.
I think you can get it from this. If you search for Corch 9987 in there, I think you get them, and then you can do their archive.
Ooh, one more point and North gets 54.5. The winning number of points required. Good lord. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a bit... I'm really sorry, John. It's just going to be a bit too tricky to do on the stream like this. It's I don't know whether you noticed, but it's lagging enormously at the moment. So I'm just not really getting any... it's just a little bit tricky to look for stuff. So I'm afraid we'll have to. We won't be able to do that. A little bit annoying actually that the game gets isn't available when you click like that.
Yeah, after the game, it's yeah.
G takes H3. Not sure about G takes H3. Oh, 2 points needed. Sorry, 52.5 at the moment. So, well, if anyone's going to win this, it's going to be black. We can be pretty sure of that. Let's have a look. How did Ken Neat? How's Ken Neat? Ken Neat is a piece up for 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 pawns. 2 pawns. So that should be a fairly comfortable win. I would have, I suppose, if I'd been white there. The only thing about it is your invasion path is just a little bit narrow, really. So you're going to have to work out how to get in there. But I would have probably looked to play maybe a knight to E3, and then maybe play a bishop to G4. Try and get my bishop in somewhere, attacking the C6 pawn, for example. That would have been quite nice. I'm not sure the knight on C5 is doing that much, really. But this is another good idea. I think maybe white's going to go king G3, bishop G4, and do the same idea, and that would be pretty good. A camera icon. I can have a look.
The game. I think it might not. We can try it, but I think it might not work because the game's over.
Yeah. This is what I've been trying, Ian, and for some reason, it looks like when the game is finished, then you don't actually get to see it anymore, which is a bit unfortunate, really.
London board 52 for North.
Oh, let's have a look at this one. So, smooth as a hedgehog against. Okay, white's now picked up the A4 pawn, so that's quite serious.
Okay.
Now we just need to work out how to do this. To be honest, H4 and H5 feels very tempting here, because I don't think the king's got a route back. That bishop on C8 is stopping the king coming back to F5. So yeah, I think H4 looks very strong. I don't think you can. Yeah, that's no point in protecting that E4 pawn. Just go for it. It looks like this is going to be a very good win for Andrew Horton.
Yes.
Playing very strongly recently. Really is playing well. He beat. I think I was right. He beat Gawain in one of the Blitz online Blitz tournaments.
Was that Lawrence Cooper birthday one?
No, that was we commentated on it. It was the English Championship, I think.
Okay.
So
we commentated on a few now.
He played very, very well. So yeah, I guess the
that H pawn isn't being stopped in a hurry.
No, no, it's just this is really hopeless now. Yeah, very well done.
So that's going to be another win for the North. That could clinch the match.
Indeed. Very fine game from White. Really some very good stuff in there. He got to the final. That's right. Yeah. And then he lost to, was it Marcus Harvey in the final? It was, but it was very, very impressive. Very impressive beating Gawain, because Gawain's a very strong blitz player. F5. We're going to go H6.
It's an easy plan now.
Yeah, and we've always got Bishop H3 at the end. Bishop E5.
Bishop goes to there, but then you've got a choice between Queen one or the other, right?
Oh no, Bogdan's that's quite clever. Yeah, he wants to put the knight on B8 then. I think Bishop B2 would be the simplest. I think that would be the easiest way to to make that happen. And then we just go h7 and then bishop d7 is also reasonable. Yeah, I think this is curtains.
Yeah.
Accelerated Dragon's pretty good, John. It's quite nice because you've got a pretty just a nice easy way of development, and you get your pieces out, and there's a few little tricks as well that white has to be careful for. You know that a lot of white players fall for as well. I think Accelerated Dragon is pretty good, John. I would recommend it as well. 92. I don't think there's any reason to give up that bishop. We could do, but well, although it must be said h7, knight takes c1, h8.
You could go bishop b2 now, couldn't you?
Oh, bishop b2 is very strong. Yeah, that's much better. That is the move. Yeah, no, this is going to be very, very good here. But come on, Andrew. Yeah, bishop b2. Played.
There we go.
Yeah, this is very, very good. Very well played. Game over. Black resigns. Well played. Fine game.
Well done, Andy. Unlucky Bogdan.
Yeah. Well played, both players.
Because Bogdan defended very well, actually.
Bogdan gave him.
Bogdan game when it was so difficult.
Yeah, Bogdan gave himself a great chance to save it, but yeah, it was just too much. Personal favourite openings for white. 1d4 always, and the same-ish against the King's Indian. That's definitely a favourite.
King's Gambit, Moro Gambit. That's what you want. You wear your pawn.
Now the question is, which games are still going on? Because it's a little bit tricky to know that. Tim Peter Wall, that's been a draw. Inglaterra, Tim Peter Wall.
Looks like Henry is still going on there. That was the piece up, so that was decisive. Let me find some from lower down.
Let's have a look. So, yeah, I mean, in general, this should be going quite smoothly. We're going to... at 8:49, North of England cross the finish line with 54.5 points.
Yeah. Michael
well
Harris,
done.
former champion. I remember that. Yeah.
Well done, the North.
Yeah. So
fine victory. So White's going to probably take on g5 and then somehow get the...
I tell you what we should look at. Nigel Towers.
Go for it.
George Green. So this
Which
is
board is that?
I think it's 42. Nigel ST against Crowthorne George. Because Nigel's been organising a lot of these ECF events.
No, not coming up, I'm afraid. No. Oh, yes, there we are. So, pawn down in this ending. Not easy for black. A little bit tricky to convert, I think. How would we do this? I guess we go king g5. If knight e4 check, we'll go around to h4. It's not the best square in the world for the king, but well, it's yeah. What can you do? It's just how it's got to be. And you can later. Yeah, that's right, John. I don't play very much nowadays. Play the 4 NCL quite a bit, but of course, yeah, we've got to see when that starts up again. I'm not enormously keen on playing online chess. I enjoy it from time to time, but over the board chess was really the one that I really liked. Classical games,
You
slightly
ran
longer games.
a Blitz championship as well in Vienna, didn't you, with 100%?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's I'm a decent Blitz player. I'm not. I mean, there's guys like Michael Adams, for example, who's just always been in a class of his own from that point of view. But I was kind of my strength for Blitz, but not more than that. Just a decent Blitz player from that point of view. But people like Mickey were phenomenal, and Gawain's very, very strong as well. David, of course, is strong at that as well. You would expect somebody with his time travel skills to be declined a draw.
Yes.
Oh, and then Crawthorne George declined a draw. Yeah, I don't. I'm not quite sure what happened there because Black seems to be winning. Yes, David's a very good Blitz player as well. Absolutely.
Northumberland Weekend. Is that okay? Is that that one's in person? Over the board chess. Starting again in Northumberland.
I'm afraid this one's. Oh, sorry, Nigel. It's done so much work promoting this and organising these tournaments, and we just turn up and watch one of his losses. But it's. Yeah, this one does seem more or less.
Yeah, let me find you another.
Finished. We've got to just see how Ken Neat's doing. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I think the king's going to come to g5, the knight's going to come to g3, and that'll be pretty much that.
Yeah.
So
you're all done. I'm looking at the wrong one. We found one that started late, wasn't there? I've now forgotten who. Was that Della Corta started late?
No, that was Tim Peter Wall, but he drew. Slide Away is playing Blitz actually. That's why that's why this game has come up, because we're following Slide Away. As for the draw, East Coker, well played, White. That was in general quite a difficult game to hold, but White did that. You drew. Well done, Tim.
Okay, board 70.
All going quite well. Looks like the North have won.
Hi, Tim. Yes, a win for the North, a famous victory for the North of England against the South of England in this 107 board match. And there's a Northumberland weekender that we're advertising for the crowd. Not this year. Not this year, surely. Is it happening? Mick Riding, can you confirm if the Northumberland weekender on the 25th to the 27th of September is actually happening this year? And if so, how many entrants have you got so far? So I reckon we've got board 70 is Harvey Rabbit against Alan Willis. That looks like it should still be going.
Okay, let's have a look. Board 70. Sorry, I don't need 60. Yes. I need this one.
Sometimes it looks like they're still going and they might not be, so we'll see.
126 years of hurt, says Tim. It's happening. My goodness.
On to Newcastle. 50 plus entries. Okay. Yes.
No, I'm not getting that game, I'm afraid, Natasha.
No.
I'm just getting the only game I've got that's really. No, wait a minute. I do. No, that can't be true. I think this is another.
They're having a rematch.
They're having a rematch, or yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I think the match is done anyway. I will see how my adding goes up for a. It won't be the final score, but it'll be a near final score. 18.
Oh, Ken Neat has won again.
26.
He won in the county championship. Won here again. Well played.
49, 42.5, 48.5, 52.5, 53. It's at least 56 for the North. 7, 13, 16, 20.5, 21, 24, 27.5, 31.5, 36.5, 37, 43. So
Okay, very
53.
Very convincing for the North there.
Yes, a smooth
very
win.
Impressive. Very impressive. Yeah,
Well
some very
done.
interesting. Yeah, some very interesting games there. Ken is on fire online, Tim. You're absolutely right. Just keeps on winning these games. A very interesting match, actually. I thought certainly the game between Andrew Horton and Bogdan was very good to watch. Really nice. Very well played by White. Very toughly defended by Bogdan, who gave himself all sorts of chances to save a draw when it didn't look he didn't think it was at all possible. But well persevered by Andrew to win that. It was a very nice game to watch. Otherwise, I mean, thanks to all the viewers, all of you for watching.
Yes, thank you, and thanks for your comments as well.
Yeah, for making requests. It's very, very nice. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as as much as we have. And well, for the next big event, hopefully we'll see you there and be commentating on that whenever it is. And if you're in Northumberland between the 25th to 27th of September, there's nothing better to do than to play a chess tournament over the board. So do give that one a go as well. Okay, thanks very much indeed, everyone.
Thank you for watching. Congratulations to the North.
Bye. Thanks, Mick.